They understand that we've spoke about consolidation profiles before. This morning was one of those consolidation profiles. It's very clear. Price is only ever doing a few things, right? You could either be moving up, down, or sideways. Very clear. This morning, it was moving sideways, right? Overnight, it was moving sideways. This morning, it was moving sideways. So in terms of analyzing consolidation, there's no secret to it, right? Price was moving sideways. You don't have to make it any more complicated than that. But once you can identify consolidation, then that's when we understand how to operate. If you've been working with me here on the channel, you would know that in a consolidation profile, the best opportunities present themselves at the extremes of the range, right? So if we were to point out the extremes of the range, you'd be looking at the swing high and the swing low of the range. And let's take a look. In a consolidation profile, the best opportunities present themselves at the extremes of the range. So you have to wait for one of the extremes to get engaged. So there's two opportunities here. We're going to analyze both of them. We went over these with my community earlier this morning. So if you're here from my community, it's going to be a little repetitive, but everybody here on My Funded TV needs to see it as well. So after obtaining an idea, after obtaining a game plan, what is the thing that tells you it's time to engage with that plan? Same concepts, different day. It's always going to remain the same because this is how I engage with the market, right? Develop a game plan, then look for a confirmation to that idea. The confirmation I use is a Kraken correlation, right? So SMT. Let's take a look at the different forms of SMT this morning, right? We've already identified that it was a consolidation profile. When we're dealing with a consolidation profile, we know to look at the extremes of the range. So let's hop over to NQ as well so that we can analyze SMT. Let's point out the range, okay? Here's the swing high of the range. Here's the swing low of the range. And what do you see here? Can you notice how during the news release, the candle right before the news release took out the extreme of the range, right? Take a look at this. Take a look at this candle. Hold on. That's the news candle. One more. Hold on. Take a look at this, right? What do you see here? It's very clear that NQ took out the swing high right before the news release. It's very clear that ES did not take out the swing high. What is that? That is bearish SMT. We already know that we're dealing with a consolidation profile. So since the extreme of the range was engaged on NQ, right, we would know it's time to start looking for a position. The thing that confirms that idea is SMT. You can see that there's bearish SMT at the highs because ES did not take out the high, while NQ did take out the high. So now you have a confirmation to the idea, and the idea is a consolidation profile. So at this very moment in time, seeing that bearish SMT, you can suggest that we're going to go back to equilibrium of the range. Well, it happened right there at the news release. So once again, it's the same logic day in and day out. You're developing a game plan. Once you develop a game plan, you look for a confirmation to that idea. That confirmation is a Kraken correlation. Once you get that Kraken correlation, that is the thing that states it's time to engage. And look at the results that you would have gotten, right? Insane move lower there. That's from the news, right? We had a news release. So you do also need to understand if the account that you're using is allowed to trade the news, right? Because there's accounts where news trading is not allowed. So please do your due diligence. Make sure you read all of the rules before attempting any trades, right? go onto My Funded Futures website, go to their FAQ section. If you have any questions about any of the accounts, type the question into that FAQ. You'll get the answer right then and there. Okay, so whether you are allowed to trade news or not, it depends on the account that you're in. If you are allowed to trade the news, it's the same thing every day, right? You develop a game plan. After developing a game plan, you then look for a confirmation. Once you get the confirmation, that's when you go to execute. Now, let's keep moving forward, right? Again, we know it's a consolidation profile, right? The lows of the range were taken out. Okay. So when we're dealing with a consolidation profile, we look for a move from the extreme of the range back to equilibrium of the range. What would we use to engage with that idea? SMT, right? So let's go out to a higher time frame. Once again, is there SMT? Yes, there is, right? So take a look at this. Notice how NQ tapped into a bullish FEG here, right? A location, a higher time frame level to execute long positions. Bullish FEGs. When price tapped into the bullish FEG, you can see that NQ was capable of going into the bullish FEG, right? So that means that it took out this candle low. Let's go over to ES. Let's analyze the same 2 points in time. You can see that ES made a higher low, right? It did not tap into the bullish FEG. It did not go below the 1200 hourly candle. There you go. You got another confirmation to your idea, it being a Kraken correlation. So that would tell you it's time to engage with the idea of a consolidation profile and look for a move back internal. Excuse me, not internal. A move back to equilibrium of the range. So then it's just a matter of getting down to a lower time frame and looking for some form of entry. And not very clean here on the 5 minute. Not very clean here on the 1 minute either. So definitely a tough position to get into. But you can see an inversion in here, right? If you're on the 1 minute time frame, you have a inversion here that it reacts beautifully to. So in the form of change in the state of delivery, there's 3 different types of change in the state of delivery. You can get, right, a order block, which is a change in the state of delivery. You can get an inversion, which is what I'm pointing to right now, or you can get a breaker block. So, point being, develop a game plan. After understanding your game plan, look for a Kraken correlation to confirm that you should engage with the market. After confirming it's time to engage with the market, then look for a change in the state of delivery, aligning with all of that information.